Am I talking to the National Coach of the Year? We shall discuss it. Brooke Wyckoff is here of Florida State. Locked on Women's Basketball starts now.
Ogunbowale for the win. Good!
You are Locked On Women's Basketball, your daily podcast on women's basketball.
Well, hi, everyone, and welcome to Locked On Women's Basketball. I'm your host, Howard Megdal, thanking you for making us your first listen every day. You can listen to us 6 days a week, Monday through Friday, talking about all things women's basketball, Saturday about the WNBA draft. You can subscribe at YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, it's not just me, it's also the great staff that we have assembled over at The Next, where we cover over 100 reported pieces about women's basketball every month. It's obviously been a very busy February, as you can imagine, and lots more to come. So go to thenexthoops.com, subscribe for $9 a month or $72 a year, support the work that we are doing. And we've done quite a bit of work and much more to come on Florida State, which I think coming into this year, people underestimated. And Coach, we're obviously happy you're with us, but I also wonder from that perspective, do you use that coming into the season, the gap between what your team is and what maybe some people had projected you to be?
Well, I was realistic about it. You look at brand new head coach, new players, a new mix of returners and incoming players, freshmen, fifth-year seniors. It was a question mark for everybody, including us. We had 4 brand new players, as I said, coming in with 6 returners, and it was really kind of a mystery. How is this all going to work? I mean, obviously we had high hopes. We were confident. But, so I totally understood just kind of the low projections. I never mind those because then we can sneak up on people and don't have that target on our back too early without having been proven. And so I loved coming into this season with that, just, hey, we have to prove something every single day to ourselves first and foremost, and then to the rest of the world. And so, I feel like we've done that up to this point, but we still have work to do.
And so for our listeners, Florida State is 20-5. So indisputably already a successful season, currently 3rd in the ACC, which may be the most difficult conference top to bottom in the country. And there's just a thing we have to get out of the way right away, which is that people do not, I think, fully understand and appreciate how good you guys are defensively. I had a chance to see it firsthand when you came up to Mohegan, but you can go ahead and look at opposing points per game, and it's 65.7. You say, oh, that's 202nd in the country. That's, not a good number. But what you actually have to look at is you have to take pace into account. You guys are 33rd in the country in opposing points per 100. It's because you play the 7th fastest pace in the country. And I guess specifically to that, I mean, you were an elite defensive player when you played in the W, when you played in college. How do you teach not just defense, but specifically defense with pace?
Mm-hmm. Thank you for recognizing that. That is the thing that I am most proud of right now. As you said, I look at, what percentage we are holding the other team to, defensive field goal percentage. I look at that stat as well. We are number 1 right now in the ACC. Or we were before. I haven't looked since last night's Virginia Tech NC State game, but we were number 1 yesterday. And so, yes, with the pace that we play, we're allowing the other team to shoot a lot of shots. It's a lot of defensive possessions we have to play. And then we want to be really fast on the other end. So, even before we started talking about who we were going to be offensively, we wanted to establish an identity defensively. We wanted that to be this team's, starting point. Because I know from experience of having coached teams that are very good defensively and having played against teams very good defensively in the ACC, to be an ACC champion, just starting there, you have to be the most solid defensive team at all 5 spots. You can't have a weak link. And I really wanted us to understand that. And so we started with, and I actually have this shirt on today, if you don't mind. Okay. We're going to talk about this before practice, just how much we've grown in that area. Nope mentality is our defensive mantra. My assistant coach, Craig Carter, came up with that. It's inspired by Kawhi Leonard. Just nope, you're not going to score on me. You're not going to score on us. And so it's something we've had to work at every single day. And we're seeing the results now. And I'm just so proud of our team. But it really is, if we get stops and defensive rebounds, we can go. That's when we're at our best offensively, is in transition offense. And so that's why I love basketball. It's just geometric. It's just everything just works so well together and flows when you do it the right way.
It's true. Basketball is math, right? That I often talk about. And getting those opportunities in transition, I think in part is so effective for you guys because of the personnel that you have. And even just looking back, when you were interim head coach a couple of years ago, you didn't play this fast. This is, Coach Sue would obviously do in a lot of different ways, depending on personnel. Yeah. Was that part of your thinking as well? Did you look over the summer and see, given who we have, well, obviously, Ta'Niya Latson gets a lot of the excitement, and justifiably so. But did that play a part in you thinking this is where we're going to have to get not just our defense, but our offense as well?
Yeah, it all kind of worked really well together, part on purpose and part just kind of, the basketball gods were smiling down on us in terms of, I brought in my associate head coach, Bill Ferrara, who has, is a mastermind behind basically a pace and space, fun and run type of offense. He is, created his, obviously drawn from great inspiration and great teachers over the years, but he has an offense that is up tempo, that is pushing the ball. The person with the ball in their hands is trying to go get a layup. We got 3-point shooters. So he came in with that, already, we were talking about that already. It's a fun way for players to play. And we had a roster of players that could play in it, that were multiple people that could take the ball in their hands, not just one outlet. I feel like in years past, we've been more limited, just skill set wise, in terms of we had just less people that could handle the ball on the full court and really take it, themselves if they needed to. KK Timpson at the 5 spot, she's so athletic. She wants to get out and run. So it really was a convergence of a style we wanted to play and players, like, as you said, a group of players that really fit well into that. And yeah, it's hard on a defense when you've got 3 to 4 players on the floor that can really just drive it at you with speed. Over the course of 40 minutes, that gets tough to slow down.
I love to look at where the rubber hits the road on the numbers of it. And so you guys are 26.9% of the time your offensive possessions are in transition, which is 5th in all of Division I, right? But there's another part to it, and it speaks to what you just talked about, the fact that it's so tough on opposing defenses. It's one thing to run and run and run, but you guys are more efficient than anyone in the top 40 when it comes to transition baskets. So you're not just doing this as much as anyone in the country, you're doing it as effectively as everyone in the country. Do you know that it's working early on in the non-conference? Is this something you're seeing in practice? Like, when did you realize not just that, like, this is going to come together, this is going to be the best system for my team, but like, we have a chance to be really competitive nationally with what we're doing?
Yeah, I think it started early on in the season when we started playing games. We played a couple exhibition games, and granted, those are against Division II teams. But we were scoring over 100 points, and then as we got into non-conference and we were able to put up a lot of points, that's when we really you know, I mean, that we had a little bit of an idea. You know, this, as simple as this system is, which you know, just boiled down, is person with the ball in their hands, go get a layup. If you can't, that means someone else is open. Find them, find that person at the 3-point line, be ready to shoot a 3. And if you can't, then you drive. You know, it's that simple, but that simplicity is almost took a while for our players to grasp. I mean, obviously it feels like a lot of freedom. It feels like, wait a second, you know, really, you know, and also there is spacing involved in that, very specific spacing that, you know, you have to be very disciplined with. So we were still grasping that over the summer and in the non-conference. And so, but once we started to play competition, it was like, okay, yeah. And Bill, you know, again, was like, no, this is how it is. We're going to be the best, one of the best scoring teams in the country, you know, and he was right. And again, having a player like Ta'Niya Latson who can go get those buckets, you know, with ease, and, you know, really, really helps as well. And so we saw that in, you know, right before we started to play games, we were scrimmaging our scout team and doing like full scrimmages. And we saw signs of her really excelling and being able to put up points against our scout team. And it was like, okay, this could be fun. And the players started to say, wow, this is fun. And
I can tell you visually, it is a lot of fun as well. So I want to get into the specifics in segment 2. Do want to talk about our sponsor, LinkedIn Talent Solutions. And I can tell you, as a small business owner, success in 2023 depends on the team members you surround yourself with. We have had endless WNBA stories come down the pike in the same way that we've been covering college basketball, and making sure that all 12 of our beat reporters at the Next are able to handle quick turnaround, are able to handle unexpected trades, you name it. Very important. And you can use LinkedIn Jobs to help you quickly attract qualified candidates, just like we did for your open jobs with targeting tools. They go beyond resume data by using insight from your job post, company, and their 875 million member profiles in order to make sure you get the people who you need. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality. So post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNBA. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnNBA to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. And when we talk about the job that Ta'Niya Latson has done so far this year, you know, the scoring obviously is the thing that people talk about first and foremost, but it dovetails with what you're talking about, dovetails with being able to find your teammates and being able to defend at the other end and note mentality. And so I'd like to kind of ground our Ta'Niya conversation on a couple of stats that really stand out to me. One of them is that Ta'Niya has an assist percentage of 22.7, you know, even as a primary scorer for her to do that. And the other is that her turnover percentage is 13.3. And the reason the latter is so important, in my view, is as fast as you guys are playing, like I said, it's not coming at the expense of defense. And your turnover percentage as a team is 19th best in the country. So again, you're taking care of the ball. I mean, it sort of blows my mind. How is this happening from a freshman?
Yeah.
Able to sort of lead in all of those critical ways that feel very much like these are things you expect of an upperclassman to do.
Yeah, I ask myself that every day with her. It really is phenomenal. And it's just, I know you talked to her. She's so mature. She has just a poise about her that, yes, for so young, you just don't see. And so to have, you know, there was honestly the responsibility to be the leader of us, you know, to set the tone offensively at the fast pace that we do, to have the ball in her hands, to shoot as much as she does, to also be so good, you know, with those numbers, the assists, the turnover rate, like you're saying. I don't know. It's really, really been a fun thing to watch. But again, it is. She she embraces pressure. She puts a healthy amount of pressure on herself in terms of she's able to go out and perform. You know, it's a lot, you know, myself included, you put pressure on yourself and you start to get jittery and you make mistakes and things like that. And that's not the case with her. She's elite mentally. And so, and obviously physically, she's just gifted and has a high basketball IQ. So, so proud of her for that. And then defensively, she understands like when we can get defensive stops. And that's the steepest learning curve, I think, for freshmen is, you know, defensive rotations and being able to focus every single time where I need to be. Now I need to box out. She's gotten better in that area as well. And she totally understands how important that is to what we do offensively.
When you think about certain coaching tenures, you think about them being defined in a lot of ways by the star associated with the coach, right? You know, Dawn Staley has talked about the idea that, you know, Asia Wilson came along and defined what South Carolina could be. You know, you're putting your own imprint on this program in a different way. You obviously, you know, with your number in the rafters, with your name all over the leaderboards is one way, but this is in a different way, obviously. Does it feel as if you and Ta'Niya Latson are helping to define what this generation of Florida State basketball is going to be?
Absolutely. And I want, you know, Ta'Niya to be the one defining it. And I'm just here, you know, guiding the process. And that's what I love about being a part of Florida State. It's and having grown up here, it's not about me. Like I care about this place. I care about this program. You know, to me, it will always be Coach Sue's program. You know, the place she built. That's what it is in my heart, and all the people that came along with her to build this place. And now I'm just able to carry it forward. And so Ta'Niya came in here with that mentality of she wants to build it. She, you know, continue to build it. She wants to take it to that place. She has that goal coming in. And again, for a freshman, to have that goal and to make it about a place and a program rather than yourself, and be able to do it right away, to be able to impact and take that next step and lead that is huge. And so, yeah, I want to create an environment for all of our players that they feel freedom to do that they feel supported in doing that, but that they do it the right way, that we're doing it, you know, with the right things in mind, with defense as a foundation, and just, you know, taking it day by day. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and I'm very fortunate to have, you know, the team that I have in my first year.
It is a team, again, there's people who had to buy into your vision, and KK is another one who clearly has, I mean, the number that blows me away when you look at Michaela Timpson's overall efficiency, she is at 75.5% field goal shooting. Thank you, CBB Analytics, for right around the rim. I mean, it's as close to automatic as you're going to see. She's not somebody who's so much bigger and stronger than all the people that she is going up against in ACC play around the rim. How is she doing it?
Yeah, she's one of those players, like there's those certain types of three-point shooters that every time they shoot, you think it's going in. And it's the same with her around the basket. Every time she shoots, I'm stunned when she misses, because you know, it doesn't happen very often. But she has an innate ability physically to understand, you know, how to elevate. I mean, that's what she does. She's able to elevate over defenders as well as anybody in the country, even though she's not as tall, you know, and she has great instinct with footwork and all that. But the truth is she has so much more potential to reach. You know, a lot of what she's doing right now is just based off of raw talent. And we're continuing to try to develop her, you know, to develop her game so she's even more dangerous. But she's been watching her in high school, AAU. I mean, the kid has been under the basket with 3 to 4 people hanging on her all her life. She's somehow able to just rise above those kids, those people, those defenders, and score. And that's what she still does. So, and she gets offensive rebounds. that helps too. Offensive rebound putbacks.
They are a beautiful thing, offense, and just a sophomore. I mean, it's fascinating to see. Well, I want to talk long range with you in just a moment. Do want to tell the people at home about FanDuel, FanDuel Sportsbook, who is the new partner out over at Locked On, and they're the #1 sportsbook in America. If you're new to FanDuel, they have so many great features to make betting on sports fun and easy. You can download FanDuel now and bet on Super Bowl 57 with the no-sweat first bet. You'll get up to $3,000 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app is safe, secure, and super easy to use. You can get your paid winnings instantly. And I would just tell you, in addition to Super Bowl 57, there is also, of course, South Carolina versus LSU and women's basketball. And something that matters, though I am not a betting person myself, is making sure that there are women's sports you can bet on as well. It's what helps level the playing field, and FanDuel helps do that. So join FanDuel today over at FanDuel.com/lockedon to claim your no-sweat first bet on Super Bowl 57. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. So you talked about it being Coach Sue's program, right? And 492 victories. I mean, it's sort of this indisputable thing. And I've talked to Kelly Harper about this at Tennessee. You know, when you are at a place, you know, following a legend, there's a need to set your own goals. There's a need to define it in your own way. How do you go about doing that? And you know, you and I are having a great conversation 5 years from now about how it all goes, right? What is that conversation like? Where is this Florida State program in your view?
Well, I hope we're right here. I love being where we are right now. You know, fighting for the top spot in the ACC regular season, in the top 25. You know, although I don't love rankings, but just shows that we're winning, and we're in position to compete for championships, and that is where we always have wanted to be. That is the standard that we've set at Florida State, and that's where I'd like to be in 5 years. And hopefully when we talk, we'll have won some championships. We will have made deep runs in the tournament, in the NCAA tournament. And, that is always what, for me, the ultimate, not the ultimate goal. Obviously, the ultimate goal is an NCAA championship. So, but, getting to that Final Four, having a team that has that caliber to go deep into the tournament, to cross that Elite Eight barrier where we've been 3 times, and finally get to that Final Four, that really is what we're always building towards, realistically. And building towards that is obviously recruiting that way, but also, making our way in the tournament. Getting that experience, getting as deep as we can every year and building towards that. So I feel like we're off to a great start. Who knows what the postseason has in store, but I love where we are, and that's where I want to be in 5 years.
Is that a visualization thing for you? Because, right, that's the one thing where you say, all right, Florida State, where so much has happened, where so many great things have occurred. Is that the thing? And do you visualize it? Do you let yourself think in those terms to help get you there?
Absolutely. But I don't dwell on it. It's not, it's a great, it's the bar that I've set in terms of that's where I want to push a program to go. I think that's what we should all be doing, obviously, but being realistic about how you get there and a timeline for getting there and what you need to get there, not just saying, yeah, we want to, in recruiting presentation, we want to be national champions. Well, okay. How do you get there? And what are we realistically doing day to day, season to season, on the court and off to realistically have a shot? And so, I've coached into Elite Eights. I know the type of team, the type of journey that it is. I know how draining it is. I know how important experience and actually having been there is to take that next step. It's obviously very rare that you just get a team that goes straight to the Final Four and has never been an Elite Eight, or a Sweet 16. So those are the things I'm realistic about day to day. But yes, that is the ultimate place that I want to be pushing a program towards.
Well, I will be in Dallas. It sounds like you have every chance of getting there as well. Refresh my memory. The preseason polls had you where in the ACC?
I believe 9th.
I
believe, yeah.
And you're in 3rd place right now?
Right now. We got a tough February ahead. So we're holding steady there, and we got to keep taking it a game at a time. But
season ahead, but I'm just flagging it for the National Coach of the Year voters. 9th, 3rd, just putting it out there for you. Coach, delighted to chat with you. Really appreciate your time. To our listeners, thank you so much for listening every day. We will be back with you tomorrow, as we are every weekday, covering this wonderful world of women's basketball. Until then, I am Howard Megdal, wishing you a wonderful day.
Ogunbowale for the win. Good!
You are Locked On Women's Basketball, your daily podcast on women's basketball.